Hello, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj here with Richard Jones back in studio again.
Hi, Eric. It's great to be back. It's been several weeks. It feels like
It has been several weeks, and actually, and as we talk a little later in the video, people will realize it'll be a little longer before we're back in studio again. But we'll explain that to you coming up. So there's your preview. We got a couple of things to share. I guess more on the good news front. We were kind of doing that the last time we were in studio. Good news for the marketplace. As everyone knows, of course, it has been a pretty difficult year for folks in agriculture with high prices for a lot of the crop inputs and a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace in general. The whole Russia-Ukraine situation, of course, but Richard, I'm happy to report that the Biden administration has actually stepped up and is trying to help out as best they can.
That's great.
I know I had mentioned in the video earlier this year that Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of Agriculture, mentioned that the U.S. government was going to be offering grants for companies or entrepreneurs that wanted to get involved in the fertilizer marketplace. And actually, President Biden was at an event in Illinois recently, and he announced that the administration is going to be looking at a couple of ways to help out the grower community and ag retailers by extension. They're going to be doubling the cropping insurance coverage for 2022, offering more technical assistance for the implementation of precision agriculture, and also nutrient management. And they're also investing in domestic fertilizer production, like we said, through those grants. And as you might imagine, Richard, the grower associations were very happy. John Daggett, the CEO of the National Corn Growers Association, said American corn growers continue to feed and fuel the world as they face challenges stemming from the war in Ukraine and high input costs. We appreciate the efforts of President Biden and the USDA on helping farmers navigate through these challenging times. And Brad Doyle, the president of the American Soybean Association, said something similar. We applaud this announcement and look forward to soybean farmers realizing these benefits. So good news there, Richard, on that front. There's going to be more help coming for the grower community.
So many people have opinions on how we spend our tax dollars as a nation, but it's hard to argue that supporting our nation's farmers and food supply is a bad idea in any way, especially when you start to get into incentives or programs to help adopt ag technology that is going to make everybody more efficient and more profitable on the line too. So
yeah, amen. So I'm looking forward to as the year goes on, finding out how the growers and ag retailers we're actually utilizing these programs. So stay tuned for more news on that as we find out. So Richard, I know we've been talking a little bit on videos, me, other guest speakers and such, about the Tech Hub Live event that's going to be coming up here in July in Indianapolis. And our parent company, Meister Media Worldwide, is actually hosting that event. And they put out a press release this week. Again, we've been teasing the dates, July 19th through the 21st. But they put out a release basically talking about now it looks like the agenda is starting to come together, and we're finding out more about some of the folks that'll be offering insights there. So if you want to share a little there.
Sure. Yeah, you and I got a little sneak preview. It was yesterday afternoon. I think we got to sit down with Laura Swilinski and Rosemary Gordon, who are working hard on this program. It's a pretty full-time endeavor putting together a great program of speakers and topics. So really excited to see how that's coming together. I know it's going to be a valuable couple of days.
Yeah, it should be. And I know you mentioned Laura Swilinski, and she's been a guest here on CropLife Retail Week recently. She actually talked about some of the key pillars that are going to be discussed at Tech Hub Live this year. And those would include leveraging ag tech for better profitability, the latest information on ag tech hardware and software solutions, meeting sustainability's evolving demands, and of course, breaking ag tech barriers. So those are the four pillars that the entire event is going to be built upon. And I know one of the speakers that I teased in my column recently was Michael Moore from EFC Systems. Michael's going to be talking about ransomware in agriculture, and lo and behold, we got news that he was going to be a speaker at the event. Our friends at AGCO unfortunately got hit with a ransomware attack. That was about a week ago, and from what we understand, it disrupted their dealer network for a little while. And so obviously something very, very topical happening. And if you're worried about things like that, then please attend Tech Hub Live.
It's amazing. We started hearing more about this, it seems like last year. And I know here our company has taken a lot of precautions, and you might think it's just the big companies that are at danger of having this happen, but these guys, they go after anybody. And
Yep.
so if you're not concerned about this, you really should be. So that's a great topic.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, we're in the spring season right now. This is the time of year when everyone's going hot and heavy to get prop into the ground and get stuff applied into the field. So, the ransomware attack folks know that this is busy time, and downtime for computer systems and information systems is not going to be good. So, of course, they're going to attack at the most opportune time.
Right, and an industry built around just in time, everything, anything that throws you off is a bad thing. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking, of course, of being out of the office for events, I know you and myself will both be on the road next week. Myself, I'm going to be attending the Council of Producers and Distributors of Agro-Technology, the CPDA folks. They're holding an Adjuvants and Inerts conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And some of the speakers they're going to have there would include our friend Bob Trigell from AMVEC and Jim DeLisi from Fanwood Chemical, both speakers that we've known and loved at some of our events in the past. And then, of course, Darren Kopic from the Agricultural Retailers Association will also be on hand. And for ag retailers, they're going to have a panel discussion on the future state of U.S. crop protection. And the panelists will include Eric Cowling from Helena Agri Enterprises, Brent Bregeman from Winfield United, Troy Bolt from Simplot, and Jeff Tarsi from Nutrient. So that ought to be an interesting session. I know I'll be at that event. I'll be taking some videos. So if you can't attend in person, join us for CropLife Retail Week in 2 weeks, and I will have some highlights from that event. And then you're going to be at an event as well next week.
I am, and before we go, you'll be attending that event with our colleague Renee Targos, who's the new editor of Agribusiness Global as well. So great opportunity to get a chance to meet her.
Correct, and yes, Renee will be joining me. Renee is actually not located in Ohio where I am, but we'll be doing the old Zoom call with our viewers, and Renee and I can share our insights and takeaways from that key meeting. So
be great. Just wanted to toss that in. But yes, I will be out next week at the BPIA annual meeting next week. That's the Biological Products Industry Alliance. As you know, biological products is something we've been focused on as a technology here at Meister Media for years now. Meister was actually one of the founding members of the Biological Products Industry Alliance. This is the annual meeting for these companies that supply and manufacture these products to get together, learn from each other, talk about what's in the pipeline, talk about new regulatory issues, and really try to enhance the presence of biological products as a normal part of the crop protection process. Not necessarily just as standalone products, but as responsible rotational tools with other synthetic products as well. So this is a great event. We always look forward to this every year and getting out there and finding out what's new, what's coming. That'll be valuable tools for retailers to learn about. So anxious to get out there next week.
yeah, and where it's going to be?
It's going to be in Monterey, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember.
Not a bad assignment.
No, and again, I'm going to be in Nashville also. A very nice assignment. But I do remember the BPIA. I think I attended a meeting of theirs back about maybe 15, 17 years ago when it was in Portland. And it seemed like a small, intimate, very nice group of folks to get together at that time. I imagine it's a little bigger group these days.
It is definitely a bigger group now. They grow every year. The association is, I think, the largest it's ever been, close to 150 companies. So it's great to just get out and learn from them, find out what's coming, and we'll have more to share when we get back.
Okay, well, very good. So again, stay tuned for that information as well in a couple of weeks coming up, and a video we'll be putting together. So Richard, again, time, since I don't have you in the hot seat for a couple of weeks, time for your favorite segment. fun with numbers. All right,
Let's do this.
All right, I'll have you know, of course. Okay. Now, I had mentioned a little earlier, I'll preface this a little bit. We were talking about some of the key issues affecting the marketplace. Of course, Russia, Ukraine, higher prices. But one thing that's come up a lot is weather. Okay. So again, weather situations have been a little off for most of the country. I'm surprised. I know I was doing a survey of our top ag retailers recently, and asked a question about weather, and surprisingly, almost 80% of the respondents said the weather has been much worse than they anticipated so far this year.
Wow!
So there's sort of your hint as what we're going to be talking about for our fun with numbers.
All right.
So the number is 22%. Okay. All right. Now, does 22% represent A, corn plantings through May 9th, B, soybean plantings through May 9th, C, wheat plantings through May 9th, or D, my yard flowers plantings through May 9th?
I know you're not that far along. So
no, as a matter of fact, I usually do not plant geraniums and marigolds, is what I put in to keep the deers away. I usually don't plant those before Father's Day, so I'm still a couple of weeks away from planting anything in mass.
Okay.
So that's 0 at the moment. It's not 22.
We can knock this down to 3. I'm going to go with corn.
Very good. You get the bell, my friend. Yes,
right.
22% through May 9th. But, as I said, the weather has been a factor here. The average for this time of year in corn plantings is usually about 50%.
Oof.
So usually about half's in the ground, and we're not even at a quarter. So way behind. Soybeans is at 12%. It's usually about 24, so it's about 50% off. And wheat is actually doing the best, 27% planted. However, historically at this time of year, 47% of the wheat has gone in the ground already. So,
wow.
So again, weather across the country is a big topic of conversation for ag retailers and growers, and that's reflected in these planting numbers that are way off.
There's no such thing as normal weather from year to year, but sometimes it's less normal than others.
Amen. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be tracking this in future videos as things move along. And again, I remember some years where we were way behind the curve in early May, and by the middle of the month, everything was back on average. So I know here in Ohio we've had a couple of sunny days in a row, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of seed into the ground. So hopefully the rest of the country is having as much luck.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Richard, that wraps up another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.